Boom shakalaka, Shute speaking.
Scott here,
Scott who?
the crap CJ. Just reminding you that this episode we're going to try out that new idea.
What episode? Oh, sorry, are we still doing that podcast then? No, I thought we were out of it.
You wish.
Yeah, what idea was that again?
Well, weren't you paying attention when we had our production meeting?
Seems like a familiar question.
I think I've asked that question way too many times. But anyway, at that meeting, we decided we were going to let AI decide on a year, and we just talk about it.
That didn't we have this conversation already that was a bad idea?
But I don't know about that. But I mean, basically, there's a bit more to the whole thing, essentially. But yeah, it's just that.
All right, cool. So we're keeping in line with our previous successful podcasts and producing a pile of shit.
This is me,
And this is me.
and welcome to
What's my age again? Again.
It's been a while again.
Again?
So in case you weren't listening to our intro, CJ and I are going to trial a new idea today.
We're going to up our game in the professionalism department.
Well, that wouldn't
Not in the
be
way I say
hard,
it,
I
but-
know. But what we're going to do is we're just going to let AI decide for us.
Just the way God intended. Or, as I like to call him, Skynet.
The singularity. Anyway, so we're going to let AI choose a year and then let it choose 3 topics arising from that year for us to discuss.
That sounds like a brilliant idea. I can't see anything going wrong with this.
Yeah, well, anyway, here's the prompt.
Hang on,
Yeah.
can I just interrupt you there before you?
Yeah,
I'll just stop you
yeah.
there. This reminds me of the time that you said, "Hey, I'm going to ask AI to create a stereotypical Australian 50-year-old male for us."
I think this is a conversation we've had before as well.
Carry on.
So AI's advanced a lot since then. So
So
hopefully it can aid us in our quest to create a better podcast.
Okay.
Anyway, here's the prompt I used to get ChatGPT thinking. Pick a random year between 1963 and 2025. And the reason we chose those years is they're the years we've been alive. Okay? Then give 7 dot points about the most important internationally recognized headlines from that year, making sure to include at least 1 major news or political event, 1 global pop culture event, and 1 other quirky moment.
Ooh. Oh, so I'm doing all the work now. I've got to feed it in.
Yeah. Get typing.
Processing complete. Out of the years that could have been chosen, I have, of course, selected the optimal one, 1969. The top headlines I have chosen are Apollo 11, Moon Landing, Woodstock, Beatles rooftop concert. Other possible events were Concorde makes its first test flight, first ATM appears in New York City, Monty Python debuts on BBC. Let's be honest, I've done the hard part, and you get to sit there and look impressed.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty confident that AI is going to stab me in my sleep.
Well, it does sound an awful lot like Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey. So it probably will stab you when you're asleep.
It sounds like if Hal had been cast in Silence of the Lambs.
Clarice.
No, the other one, the Buffalo Bill.
It rubs the lotion on the skin.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about 1969?
There's some immature people would probably try and make some gags about the 69 part. But of course, we're above that. And if you've got any comments about immature people making fun of things like that, feel free to drop us a line at theoldfolkshome69@gmail.com.
Apropos of nothing, and this actually goes in with one thing we're going to talk about, because the AI did mention the Beatles rooftop concert. And I have a T-shirt that when we went to Abbey Road, I bought, and it has 1969 across the front, and it's got the Beatles walking across Abbey Road sort of superimposed in 1969. And I was wearing it a few weeks ago, and I walked past this quite, I wouldn't say elderly, because she's probably about our age, but a woman far too old to be saying this just looked at me and went, yeah, I like 69. Knowing full well what she was saying, this wasn't any kind of I'm a dumb person saying something dumb. This was,
right.
I'm fully aware of what I'm saying.
And did you say you'll need to buy me a drink first?
I avoided eye contact and walked in the other direction. So we'll have to get into this podcast.
But first, beer.
I like beer because it is good. I drink beer because I should. If there was a song to sing, I sing it and beer you bring. I drink beer when I am sad, because the beer, it makes me glad. Now there's nothing left to say, so let's go drink beer.
So, CJ, what's your beer again?
My beer again is a Boatrocker, because we're talking about history. A Boatrocker Old Brown Ale. Not as in it's one that I found under the porch. It's a that's what it's called. It's called Old Brown Ale.
Old Brown, okay.
Yeah.
Not an old brown eye.
That comes after you drink it. We've taken a step back in time. So have we, Boatrocker. When life was simpler and beers were about malt and yeast, not hops. This Old Brown Ale is inspired by the classic English brown, driven by a blend of malt and fermented with an English ale yeast that's strain. It's doing so well to produce some characteristic fruity ester notes. What? Okay. So Boatrocker's a brewery in Melbourne. They do some quite good beers. They also distill some stuff as well. They could do with upping the font size on the tin. It's let me pour it for you. Certainly sounds like a beer being poured.
Yes.
And how does it taste?
Beer.
Oh, it's not bad. It's it tastes like an English brown ale. So it's kind of malty and yeasty.
Okay.
And not hoppy.
Very good. Very good. Now, this is a slight aside, but when you've mentioned Boatrocker before, and I can't hear Boatrocker without somehow thinking motherfucker. I don't know why.
That was because last time you were here, we went down there and you got completely smashed, and and took on that granny who got really annoyed with you.
It's also the same as Tommy Hilfiger. I can't think of Hilfiger without thinking motherfucker. So Tommy motherfucker.
You've been hanging around.
That's just beside the point.
You've been hanging around with our AI serial killer for too long. Also, this is going to be, at the risk of outing myself as completely stupid, I've always thought it was Tommy Hilfiger. Is it actually Hilfiger?
Well, I better look it up now, because I think it is Hilfiger, but
okay, I always thought it was Hilfiger.
Now you've
saying Hilfiger out loud makes actually doesn't make a great deal of sense, but it'd be interesting.
It's Hilfiger, yes.
There you go.
It might not be pronounced Hilfiger; it could be Hilfiger for all I know,
right?
Because it only has one G, so it might be Iga, might be Iger,
Hilfiger.
If it's that, then I'm very far off the mark by saying motherfucker. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Thomas Hilfiger.
Yes.
Let's move on really quickly, and I'll ask you what your beer is again before anybody pays too much attention to the fact that I've been saying Tommy Hilfiger for almost 60 years, or however long it's been around.
Okay, so I've been holding on to this beer for a while because it's now the school holidays between third and fourth term, and in the last school holidays, I went for a trip up to the Blue Mountains of New South Wales and I went to visit Mountain Culture Brewery, which I've mentioned a couple of times in the past.
Yes.
And I mentioned that it is in the old Video Easy in Katoomba.
Yes.
So I made it my business to make a visit there, and it was slightly disappointing because
It was open.
the doors were open, but it wasn't open for business.
Because it had no Scots allowed sign.
Apparently. But they did allow me to buy a takeaway. So I bought a 6-pack of the Mountain Culture Lager. Ostensibly because I really like their hazy, but Lisa quite likes drinking a lager. So I decided I would get something that she would drink. And
Lager for Lisa?
I have already poured it, so you can't have the joy of hearing me pour it, but I will now taste it and tell you what it tastes like.
All right.
It's quite smooth. It tastes like a lager should, but it's, I guess, it's lagers are things. They just taste like lager to me. It's not. I don't unless they're really shit.
Yeah.
It just tastes like it should. So this tastes like it should, possibly a bit smoother, and it's drinkable in a good way. And that's all I have to say about that.
Drinkable in a bad way?
Well, I mean, you might say that Qingdao was drinkable in a bad way.
Yeah, I'm not sure anything's drinkable in a bad way.
Arsenic?
Yeah, true. No, you make a good point. As a sidebar, when you mentioned takeaway, they let you buy takeaway. When I was at a bar in Perth, like a bar brewery in Perth, earlier this year, I said to them, they had a really good red IPA, and I said, have you got any that I can kind of take with me? What do you mean? Like, have you got any cans or bottles that I can buy to take away?
What?
You want to? Yeah, it was like, you want to take it away? Mike, he wants a can or a bottle to take away.
We can pour it in a glass and you can balance it on your seat in the car.
And I was like, what, or is there a shop that I can, like, that you distribute to, I can buy it from? No, I don't think so. All right. So I possibly introduced the idea. I possibly introduced the idea of concept of takeaway beer to Perth. Or at least
revolutionised the beer industry in Perth.
Yeah. So that's What's My Beer Again, where we've successfully informed the listening public that Boatrocker make a brown ale that tastes like a brown ale, and Mountain Culture make a lager that tastes like a lager.
And that's a public service announcement from us.
So it's time for another ad from our sponsor.
The one that pays us lots and lots of money, that one.
That's the one, yes. So previously we've been advertising a book called Funny You Should Ask from an author named Elwood Scott. It's time for a big reveal. I am Elwood Scott. Yeah, just a pen name. I thought it'd be easier to do, but it's actually made it more complicated. So, yep, it's me.
And by the way, I'm Scott, and Elwood Scott is not Scott.
He's not Scott.
Elwood Scott is CJ.
Anyway, Colin Calls the Help Desk is a hilarious and relatable take on the absurdities of office life. Follow Colin the Koala, hold questions, as he dives into his first job and meets Graham, a cynical employee who's just hanging out for redundancy, Bob, his continually disorganised boss, and Brenda, who seems to spend most of her time telling everyone how busy she is. Now, there are a couple of questions that people have raised to me when I've told them about this book.
I have questions.
Not least of which, the main question I get when I say the main character's called Colin the Koala is this a kid's book? The answer is no, not if you want your kids to ever get a job, because it's a very much satirical take on all the stupid shit that happens in an office.
So I have questions.
That's good. Questions are good.
One of my questions is, okay, you've said the main character is Colin the Koala. So is the Koala a nickname like Nicky the Llama or Oblong Doug?
Nope. Colin the Koala is 100% koala.
But aren't koalas generally naked, drunk, and spend all their time sleeping or catching chlamydia?
No, you're thinking of Brian from accounting. Colin actually wears a suit. He's sober. He's maybe a little naive, but he's keen, he's enthusiastic, he's incited to lean in, add value, and grab the low-hanging fruit.
Did you go to university to become a writer?
No, I didn't. I don't have any formal qualifications. You see what I did there?
But
It's Colin the Koala. No formal writing qualifications. That's the kind of high-level, highbrow humour that you'll find in Colin Calls the Help Desk. Actually, seriously, it is better than that. So if you available on Amazon in all the backs, hardback, like anybody's buying a hardback except for me. Paperback and
Razorback?
Yes, it's the disadvantage to the Razorback version is that when you when it arrives, it charges through your lounge room at about 25 kilometres an hour and gores you to death before you get to read it. So it's not one of the best-selling versions, I'll have to say. But yes, all versions available on the Amazon. I'd love to hear your reviews. But it's always important to remember...
Leave a 5 oink review.
I'm writing this review from my hospital bed. I enjoyed Colin Calls the Help Desk.
I slightly regret the Razorback edition.
Once my groin heals, I'll be looking forward to book 2.
In paperback.
4.5 stars. You lost 0.5 of a star because delivery was late.
But when it came, it really came.
Colin Calls the Help Desk. Available on Amazon.
As you heard our AI announce earlier,
It's going to kill us.
It's going to kill us. Well, it didn't actually say it would. It just sounded like it would.
It just sounded like it.
And if you were frightened by the way the AI was speaking and weren't paying close attention, I'm just going to go over the main headlines it's given us from 1969. It mentions Woodstock. It mentions the Beatles' rooftop concert. It mentions Concorde taking its first test flight. It mentions the first ATM in New York City, the first ATM in the world. One dear to my heart, the debut of Monty Python on BBC. And, of course, our big ticket item, the moon landing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what I'm surprised by is that it didn't mention, based on the fact that it's clearly it's clear intent, is it didn't mention the Manson murders.
Well, the Manson murders actually did happen during the moon landing.
To Donald Trump.
Okay. Full disclosure here, I'm an absolute moon landing freak. I think you are to a certain extent too. This isn't a setup, though. It is exactly what the AI gave us, so that's fortuitous. But I actually own a number of newspapers that I've bought over the years that are of the moon landing, and there's one where they've just arrived back home, and it's them in quarantine as they are before they get allowed out back into the world. And in the same newspaper, it's talking about Sharon Tate and the Manson murders.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely did happen at the same time. You're quite correct.
And
So-
also at the same time, which I found interesting, was Gaddafi took over Libya.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's longer ago than I expected. There you go. So the way we're going to be doing this, we're supposed to ground ourselves in the year. So where were you in 1969?
Where were you in 1969? Do you have any witnesses to that? Can anyone corroborate that story?
Are you now or have you ever been a communist?
In 1969, I was in, I don't know, something great class.
Probably year one. I think I was in year one.
Primary school. Really, year one?
I think so.
Okay, so I would have said like year 4 or something. But
Oh no, because you would have been 6.
Oh yeah, right. Wow. There you go. I had my whole world in front of me.
You did.
Well, I think I started school. I don't know. So either started early or late. I can't remember because my birthday's near the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I messed it up. I can still remember them wheeling the TV into the classroom and watching it on TV.
Yeah, I mean, for people in the US and say UK,
the moon landing did happen.
It did happen, and it happened for us people in Australia during the daytime. So we were at school. And so it became a real thing where the same thing happened to me at a totally different school. They wheeled in the TV, which the school only had one TV, and it was not a big TV, but it was yours on a metal stand that was quite high.
Yes.
So I got wheeled in, and all the kids were around there, and we just sat there staring at fuzzy pictures from the surface of the moon.
Yes, having no real appreciation for what it meant was going on. Although I think you found in your in your light bulb moments series, you discuss how advanced you were and were aware of how important it was.
Well, I was, because I used to watch the takeoffs with my dad, and I got right into it. So, and again, if you'd read Light Bulb Moments or my next book, which is basically a kid's version of Light Bulb Moments, I launched my own rocket, which was a sky rocket containing a capsule into which I had put a lizard. And I launched it out over Gunnebatta Bay near Cronulla. And one thing I don't mention in the book, but I swear is true, is 2 days later, I recovered the capsule. Well, because it was a sky rocket, it went up, it blew up, and it fell into the water, and it was washed up as flotsam. And I found the exact one I'd lifted off.
Right.
I never said it in the book because I thought it beggared credulity, but it actually did happen.
And the lizard jumped out and went, "What the fuck?"
Oh no, it was dead. So anyway, let's get into some of the details of the whole affair. It was the actual landing itself was witnessed by 600 million people all around the world on their little TVs, like we watch.
So they say.
So they claim. I think we need to stop doing the whole conspiracy theory thing every time we start speaking. How long do you think the actual mission took? What's your recollection of that?
I'll give you my standard answer that I give to any question that I don't know the answer to. 11.
Fair enough. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Although it was longer than I recalled, because they launched on July the 16th, 1969, and they landed on July 24th. So it's 8 days.
Wow.
It took them a couple of days to get there, and then I think they flew around it for a while, getting organised to. Well, they orbited the moon for quite a while, getting their shit together.
Because Neil Armstrong's a guy, he didn't want to stop and ask for directions. Oh, get it! The turnoff's here. Don't worry, I got it.
Then they went down, and then they had to get back up, and then do the whole trip back again. And then I think probably orbited Earth for a while they got into the right position, and then came back. So yeah, that was that. Okay, the crew: Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. Can you remember the third person?
11.
Michael Collins, the man who didn't land on the moon but went around and around and around on the command module and waited for them to come back up.
Didn't they call him the loneliest man?
He was, yes. Because at one stage he was on the far side of the moon, by himself, and he was, there was not a human within. Well, I don't know how thick the moon is, but that far away from any other human. And then those two other humans were then as far away from the moon is to the Earth. So, pretty lonely guy, I would have thought.
Yeah. I wonder if he took all his clothes off and ran around and rubbed his dick on the on Armstrong's seat or something.
Did a pressed ham on the seat. Do you remember
this smudge wasn't on the window when we came back?
Do you remember the name of the ships?
Bob, Carol, Ted, and Alice.
No, come on. The one they landed's pretty easy.
Oh, the lunar landing module.
The lunar module, yeah, but it had a name. Tranquility Base here.
Tranquility? No?
The Eagle has landed.
Is that what that meant? There you go.
Yeah.
This has become the most educational podcast for me that we've ever done. There's two things I've learned.
Yeah.
Both name related as well.
Yeah. And the command module was called Columbia. That was the one that our friend Michael Collins was flying around in.
Right.
And I've given away where they landed, which was the Sea of Tranquility, which, spoiler alert, is not a sea. Because it was a whole different type of landing.
Yeah.
And then they landed 4 days after they took off. So they landed on July the 20th. So they took them 4 days to get from Earth to the moon and then get into a position to land. And then they were on the moon for hours. Like I remember I was at home. I was watching TV in the morning and they landed on the moon before I went to school. But we were watching at school around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes.
So they were on the moon for hours and hours and hours getting the shit together before they got out and did the moonwalk.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, because when I was researching that for the book going, that's weird because I remember watching it all and I had to sort of talk to people and try to remember what happened and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they did a whole lot of stuff. They picked up a lot of rocks and did all that kind of crap.
It's the technical detail that our listeners admire most.
Well,
what did they do on the moon? They did a lot of rocks and other stuff.
Well, there wasn't a lot of stuff to do, really. They couldn't take much up with them. What they did bring back, though, would you like to hazard a guess how many kilos of rocks they brought back with them?
11.
That's a pretty handy answer, but it is, again, wrong.
Well, in fact, I'm going to challenge you on that because I'm going to say they brought back 0 kilos of rocks because they'll measure anything except using the metric system.
Okay. Well, I had got ChatGPT to translate it, but in fact, they brought back 47.5 pounds of rocks, which equates to 21.5 kilos.
Right.
It's quite a lot more than I expected. That's considering they didn't have much space and must have had a shit ton of rocks in their little...
I think you'll find they had lots of space.
Inside their lunar lander.
The obvious trivial fact of Neil Armstrong jumping off the thing and saying, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Yes, he did.
But in fact,
did he?
He was supposed to say, one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. And he fucked it up.
Well, that's not necessarily true. It's true he said...
Well, the whole thing isn't true.
He was supposed to say one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. But I've watched a rather long YouTube video from Answers with Joe, and he basically argues that in Armstrong's Midwestern accent and the way he spoke, he did say it. It just was like it was almost inaudible, but it was there. And when he played the thing over and over again, and I became pretty convinced he actually said it because it makes no sense otherwise. Even as a 6-year-old, I went, this makes no sense.
Yeah, but the reason I know it is because I heard an interview with Neil Armstrong who said I fucked it up. I meant to say amen, and I said it wrong.
Okay, because well, he did it, I suppose, but yeah, you can kind of half hear it. I recommend our listeners, if they want to look into this, go to Answers with Joe and listen to that particular YouTube clip, but not till we finish this episode.
So we're now after proudly declaring we've got 2 beers that taste exactly like beers. Do your own research and visit this YouTube channel.
Well, it's a well-researched. It's not your usual crappily researched YouTube channel. It's actually a pretty good one. But anyway, they were on the surface for 21 hours, so nearly a whole day they were on the moon, which again I was surprised at. And they spent how many days in quarantine when they arrived back, so they didn't infect us all with moon germs? Say it.
11.
21 days in quarantine.
1 for each kilo of rock.
Exactly. 21. If you'd been saying 21 instead of 11, you'd have been far more accurate in this podcast.
No. I don't know where I got 11 from. It's just it's been my default answer to questions I don't know the answer to.
Fair enough.
For a long time.
Have you heard President Nixon? He obviously wanted to congratulate them getting on the moon, but he also had to draft a speech for what would happen if they died.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and they released that a few years ago.
Okay.
And then there's a deep fake of Nixon delivering the speech as well.
Oh.
So it's quite interesting. But basically, there was no guarantee they were going to come back. So, and it's amazing, really. I think that's one of the reasons that there's so many conspiracy theories is because, they fly to the moon with 1960s level technology and somehow managed to do it like 7 times. And with the exception of Apollo 13 being successful every time. So, yeah. So it's a bit weird, particularly when now they're sort of dithering about it, but there hasn't got the same level of will, because of course there was that famous President Kennedy 1961 speech about how we're going to go to the moon in this decade, all that kind of stuff. And so then he got shot. Then it's like, oh, he's a god. We better make this happen.
Yeah.
And they threw money at it, and they did.
The thing that I find interesting is if it was a hoax, aside from the whole thing of it would have all been covered up, and so aside from the fact that would be unlikely, but it would not only be that's one conspiracy theory. The supplementary conspiracy theory to that is the conspiracy theory of it was all filmed. So all the footage was filmed in a studio.
Yes.
In which case, there's a whole bunch of people who did the filming who've had to keep all that secret.
Well, there are tens of thousands of people involved in the moon landing. It wasn't just NASA. There was different companies all over America were building parts for the effort. Like the rocket wasn't just built by one company; it was built by heaps of companies and different landers and different things. There were just too many people. If it was bullshit, too many people to keep us a secret. But the one that I always say, whenever anyone says it, was like, what would the Russians have done if they pretended to have done it? They'd have just called bullshit straight away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
I did see a thing that said that referenced the movie Capricorn 1, which, by the way, very good movie if you haven't seen it. where they fake a Mars landing, but they reference that as proof that, look, NASA copied this movie, despite the fact that the movie came out, I don't know how many years afterwards.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Now, before we leave the moon,
Yes.
I found this really interesting. So, did you know, you probably do, we didn't go to the moon once in 1969. We went twice. And when I say we, not us, but the NASA did.
Yeah, they were doing it really quickly. They unlike nowadays where they launch something and then takes a year and launch something else.
They're banging them up there. Yeah, it was like November. 14th of November.
Yeah,
they took
that's
off
crazy.
for Apollo 12. However, when I had a look at Apollo 12, the mission is less like a NASA moon mission and more like a Three Stooges or Marx Brothers movie.
Duck, 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 duck.
So, just really quickly, when they lifted off, they took off and then their rocket got hit by lightning twice,
Right.
shut everything down.
Right.
And they were just about to abort. And the commander of the mission, so the Pete Conrad, who was in the rocket, went, "Oh, don't worry, I've seen this before." and then just said, "I'll switch to an auxiliary system," and then everything was fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So they didn't abort it. They took off. They flew to the moon. Everything went fine. When they reached the moon, rather than or in contrast to Neil Armstrong's "One Small Step for Man, One Giant Leap for Mankind," the commander of Apollo 12 said, "Whoopee! Man, that may have been a small one for Neil, but that's a long one for me."
That's what she said.
And then walked onto the lunar surface and fell over. So he's the first person to say whoopee on the moon and the first person to fall over on the moon.
I was going to say, was he the first person to use a whoopee cushion on the moon?
In keeping with the Marx Brothers theme, it was supposed to be the first broadcast in color from the moon. So that was the kind of the big thing with it. They couldn't do that because they'd accidentally pointed the camera at the sun and destroyed all the internals because of the overexposure to light. So they couldn't do that at all. They were only on the moon for 7 hours.
Okay, well that's considering compared to 21.
Apparently, on the way back, somebody at Mission Control went, "Hey, remember that lightning strike when we left? Yeah. We're not sure, but that might have deployed the parachutes then." And so they said, "What do you think we should do?" And apparently they all just went, "Shh. Don't say anything. We'll see what happens." So they didn't. So they didn't tell the astronauts that there's a chance that they would plunge to a horrific death because the parachutes were already gone. They just kept it quiet. But they did manage to actually survive that. And then the article that I was reading from BBC finished with blah, blah, blah. Public interest was beginning to wane because of the big thing of it was supposed to be the first colour footage, and that didn't work, and blah 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 blah. It was costing a lot of money, so the opponents of doing it were getting louder. To get things back on track, NASA could only hope things would go better during their next mission, Apollo 13.
Yeah, well, absolutely not. Anyway, we'll move on from the moon landing after the break. So the next major pop culture thing that was mentioned by the AI was Woodstock.
I love Peanuts.
What?
He's Snoopy's friend.
Oh God, that's a deep cut.
That's one of those ones. It's one of those ones where when you said to me, you say things sometimes, and I have no idea what you're talking about, but I just laugh anyway. That's one of those ones, I think.
Okay. Well, sorry, just to go back to moon landings. The Apollo 10, which was the first capsule to go around the moon, it just went around and came back and didn't land.
Right. Couldn't find a good parking spot.
Yeah, well, their command module was called Charlie Brown, and the lunar lander that they sort of got it out and did a little mucking around, but they didn't land. It was called Snoopy.
Ah, there you go.
So there you go. Anyway, back to Woodstock. The peace, love, and mud, and free love, and all that kind of stuff. 500,000 people turned up to Woodstock, which was in New York State somewhere.
A farm. Yeah, it was just like a farm that the farmer went, yeah, sure, whatever.
Whatever, pretty much, I think. No traffic. Now, it claims here in the notes I've got that the music was legendary.
Right. It's renowned for that.
Well, I want to challenge that in a little bit, but let's just carry on with some of the details. So 500,000 people showed up. Despite overcrowding, nudity, food shortages, rain, mud, and everything else, the event stayed largely peaceful, which made it kind of proof, at least for the hippies, that peace and love wasn't just a slogan, and it worked for everybody on that horrible weekend. And it claims here, in my notes, that it was a cultural shockwave and defined the counterculture, and parents saw it as the apocalypse. Kids saw it as freedom.
Ooh.
Okay, so now my challenge for Woodstock. Firstly, who do you recall playing at Woodstock?
I don't recall anybody playing at Woodstock. I think the tagline is, if you can remember Woodstock, you weren't there.
That seems reasonable. But that reputationally,
I want to say the Doors.
Okay, keep going.
Green Day.
Real guesses, come on.
I don't think Led Zeppelin were there because they released their first album in 1969.
Okay.
Creedence Clearwater Revival. No, I'm out. I can't think of any other.
Okay, so I guess there are two ones that stand out in my mind. It's The Who. The Who did an amazing set there, and Jimi Hendrix playing Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, yeah.
They're the big ones that stand out. We'd read you this list of bands who played, and you'll be blown away.
Okay.
Richie Havens, Sweetwater, Burt Summer, Tim Hardin, Melanie, Arlo Guthrie, Joan Baez, Quill, whoever they were.
Arlo Guthrie and Joan Baez are pretty good. And one of the other ones were there was a couple of in these.
Melanie, I heard of Melanie too. Okay, John B. Sebastian. Now the only thing I ever heard him singing was the theme to Welcome Back, Kotter.
There you go. I did not know that.
Santana.
Sorry, as a bizarre side thing, I could still recite pretty well the entire Welcome Back, Kotter theme.
There you go. Well, you can quote John Sebastian. Keef, Keef, Keith Hartley Band, the Incredible String Band, Creedence Clearwater Revival, you were right. Okay, I'll give you the good ones. Canned Heat, Grateful Dead, Janis Joplin, Sly and the Family Stone, The Who, Jefferson Airplane, Joe Cocker, The Band, Johnny Winter, Blood, Sweat and Tears. Okay, Sha Na Na.
Oh.
They played there.
Right.
And Jimi Hendrix. But here's some of the ones that you may not have heard of. You heard of Mountain?
I want to say possibly.
There are some of these ones I've heard of, but it's like, 10 Years After. The Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Okay. Who didn't appear? The Doors didn't appear.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan didn't appear. Led Zeppelin didn't appear. And the Byrds did not appear. So there you go. But it's one of those things where when you see any of the footage, they're not really focusing on the music. They're focusing on the fact that there were millions of hippies wandering around not wearing clothes and covering themselves in mud.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
maybe that's what it's all about. I don't.
That's
know.
why I would have gone.
I don't know. I could have handled being covered in mud, but yeah, that's basically it for Woodstock.
No.
And
Except it'd be interesting to know where the name came from. Was the name of the
it's
farm?
the name of the place. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, and after the next break, we're going to talk about another memorable concert. And we're back.
So, in contrast to the hippie, nudie, PC thing, in 1969 was also kind of the birth of the internet. 1969 was the first request for comment document went out about how to connect computers together in a network for ARPANET.
So even though there wasn't nudity then, it became all about nudity later on.
Well, there wasn't. We just established there was nudity then, but they're all at Woodstock.
But not online.
Maybe that's why. Maybe, I'm not sure what the timing was, but maybe the guy saw the nudity at Woodstock and went, "Oh, I wish I could see that on the internet."
I have to invent it first.
Yeah, so that kicked it off. Yeah, so it's an interesting dichotomy of what was going on in the world that was in the same year.
Okay.
It was the first time that they scientists identified an individual gene.
What, Levi's?
No, I think it was Gene Wilder.
Okay. When was Willy Wonka made?
No, that was later than that, I think.
Was it? Oh, no, it was later, 1971.
Okay. So, tell us about the Beatles rooftop concert.
Well, it's one of those things that our own recollections might be a little bit...
I've got none at all.
You got none?
No.
Because, I mean, I imagine mine are coloured by having seen Get Back in the last few years. Because I do remember on the news there being pictures of the Beatles playing on a rooftop.
No.
And the Beatles were big enough because we've had older brothers.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a
I knew who
sister,
they were.
and I had older sisters. The Beatles were, even though we were little kids at that time, the Beatles were pretty big. And I used to watch the Beatles cartoon. Yeah.
Yes.
But
I think we've done an episode on that.
I think we might have talked about it. Yeah. Anyway, so I remember seeing it on the news and just thinking, "Wow, that's the Beatles playing on a rooftop. That's pretty weird." And I think I remember the police coming in to shut them down. I think, but that could be a bit of a sort of just being prompted by seeing Get Back. So I'm not so sure about that. But as far as what happened at the time, that's all I recall.
Right. Do you know what it's called? Get Back?
No.
Is John too close to the edge of the building? What is wrong with me?
Jesus. That's shocking.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember any of that.
But you saw Get Back, didn't you?
I don't think I. No.
Oh wow, you didn't watch that?
No, I've got. I saw some of it, and then I think it was on Disney Plus, and I had to resubscribe, and I went, I can't be bothered.
Because that was fascinating. I watched that because I thought 6 hours. This is going to be tedious, and it wasn't. It was slow, but it wasn't tedious because it was just watching these guys create. Like you watch Paul write the song "Get Back" in real time.
Yes, yeah, I've seen that. That's amazing.
That kind of stuff, and
yeah,
and it's like it's just amazing watching these guys because I mean, once upon a time I used to be in a band with a billion times less creativity than the Beatles, but even then there was aspects of that experience like, oh wow, you could see them doing the same kind of things, but they were the Beatles. Yeah, and they were they had amazing ideas and could just make them happen. But then John is totally zonked. He's basically on heroin the entire time and just sitting there and he brings nothing to the sessions. He's bringing songs that he wrote and that had been rejected 10 years before.
Right.
And Paul's bringing new stuff and writing new stuff on the spot, and Ringo brings in Octopus's Garden. They're playing Octopus's Garden and all sorts of stuff, and John brings very little because he's between being in all into Yoko, plus he was on heroin. He just had nothing.
And he was doing, I don't know if he was doing his own stuff then, or because he did. That was 69 was also the year that he had the bed in, or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah,
the lie-in.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. But anyway, so
big
during
news
this,
that he couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah, the whole premise of Get Back is that they want to create a record like the old days, where they're not doing like 50 million overdubs and recording orchestras and stuff. They're gonna record it like a rock and roll record with just them and Billy Preston. But then the idea was to have a concert, and they were thinking about different places to have this concert. We're going to have it at the pyramids and this, that, and the other. And every time they tried to plan it, it just got all too hard. And they had there's actually in the movie, there's time ticking away as to how they show a calendar, and they're crossing off the calendar. As to when they have to have this concert to meet some deadline.
That's right.
They've set. And in the end, it became this rooftop concert, which was supposed to have been all these other grandiose things they were going to do. But it's pretty memorable, really, I suppose. They had no permit, of course, just their amps and everything set up on the roof. And it was the last time they ever played live. And the first time they played live for many years.
Yes. Yeah.
They played 5 songs, but they repeated a couple of them a couple of times.
Oh, right. There you go. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I also saw an interview with Paul McCartney where he said after he watched Get Back, it changed his entire opinion of that period of time. Because he said he always thought that he was bossing people around and being a dick.
Yeah.
Because they were all he had to try and get them because they were on that deadline and he had to try and get them to do stuff. But he said, when he watched that, he saw that he actually wasn't as bad as he thought he was.
No, he definitely comes off quite well.
Being more of a leader.
Yeah. Because normally it would have been John also doing it, but he was too out of it. And for reasons I don't understand, they were just really, really dismissive of George to the point where in the middle of Get Back, George leaves the band for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm off.
Yeah. So, but it's like he's writing all these songs that, they weren't all as good as Lennon and McCartney songs, but they weren't shit. And when they finally got them released after the Beatles broke up, it's like, okay. These are all songs that were rejected by the Beatles. And maybe they should have been giving him a bit more.
Yeah.
Sort of. Anyway, but yeah, it looked like they were having fun at the concert, whereas the whole thing beforehand and Get Back was they were fighting and various things were happening, and Paul wasn't bossing them around. I agree with his take on it. Where it looks like he's just trying to get stuff done and stop them faffing around and trying to be a leader. But yeah, there was a lot of tension. But when they had the concert, they were having fun, and looks like they should have been doing it for years because they were enjoying themselves.
Yeah,
and it's probably the only place they could have a concert where they weren't screamed down and not be able to be heard over there, over the screaming.
Yes.
The cops turning up trying to shut them down. That was all pretty good fun. Yeah, and you have no recollection of that to speak of?
Any of that. I was while I was listening to the Beatles at the time, I was already into Deep Purple and Rolling Stones and
okay,
kind of vaguely alternative kind of rocky type bands. But I was a huge fan of the Beatles cartoon.
But yeah, so that's about all I could say about that. I mean, there's not much
Okay.
we could add. That's more. That's the facts.
That's the fact.
They broke up. When was it? When did they actually take place?
71.
Well, they broke up in 70, and this was so a year later, about just over a year later, they broke up.
Right.
But yeah, that was very sad, but probably better. I mean, you could imagine it getting worse.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be able to keep up the sort of image and the quality. You only got to see what McCartney stuff after that. When he didn't have John to stop him being all schmaltzy, and although apparently they all hated Maxwell Silverhammer.
Yeah.
And he kept on making them record it, and they were just like, oh, fucking Maxwell Silverhammer, you know. So yeah, but he dragged them through that, but I don't think they would have got through Silly Love Songs. Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of the Beatles concert. So we're back again, and just a couple of things to touch on pop culture wise. One of the big ones, which for me was kind of life changing, I guess it might sound a bit much, but I think Monty Python has definitely affected the way I think, which is not necessarily a recommendation. But yeah, Monty Python's Flying Circus debuted on BBC in 1969. As crazy as it seems to us, the Britons have quite a pedigree for doing absurd humour. Like the Goons were massively absurd. In fact, they were more absurd than Python in some ways, because Milligan was just insane. Hilarious. But yeah, I think for me, the influence of Monty Python is probably right up there with the Beatles.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Yeah. So
I'm listening to a Bob Odenkirk's biography thing or memoir thing at the moment, and he bangs on about Python incessantly. Like he's basically said that all he wanted to do was make an American standard Monty Python.
Oh, okay.
And Mr. Show was the closest that he got.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the thing I just read was he said in one of the episodes for Mr. Show, they read a review that said it's as good as Python, and they all seriously considered just ending the series then.
Yeah. But amazingly with Python, when it was good, it was amazing. But when it was bad, it was terrible.
Yes.
Have you ever watched any like full episodes for a while and not just clips on YouTube?
I haven't for a while. No.
Because I mean, I can't cite anything, but I remember I think it was on Netflix or something at one point, and I started trying to watch the series, and some of it was just dated, and they were referring to like British politicians of the time or whatever. But some of it was just so absurd you couldn't understand it. It's a bit like when you make jokes that I don't understand, you just laugh because you feel like you should.
But I think that was what they were going for. Is that they were happy to either be like they just wanted a reaction, whether it was I don't understand what's going on or humor.
One of my favourite Python things is not one of the famous ones. It's famous, but not one of the very famous ones. It's Bicycle Repairman.
Oh,
do you know that one?
It's Bicycle Repairman.
Yeah, everyone is a Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Superman's bicycle. Oh no, my bicycle is broken down. What shall I do? We'll call Bicycle Repairman. And this guy turns up in a cloth cap and overalls.
It's one of my favorite things of Monty Python, aside from all the sketch stuff, is there's an album called Matching Tie and Handkerchief.
Ah, yes.
That's got 3 sides. So you play side A, and then you turn it over and you play side B, and they double tracked it or double grooved it. So depending on where you put the needle would depend on what it played. So there was like 2 entirely different sides. on the
Wow.
one side. And like the first time I did it, like I'd listened to it and then listened to it again and went, and then put it on again. It was different. I'm like, what the fuck? So I bet I bet they got a lot of people with that one.
Yeah, I bet.
That one. Was it a trivia contest where they asked how many episodes of Monty Python there were? And it was quite a lot.
Oh, okay. As compared to amazingly few Faulty Towers.
Yes. Which ranges between, I hear, either 6 or 12.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look now because I was going to say it's very low, but 6 sounds like way too few. But
Yeah.
12 episodes across 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. So 6 episodes per season.
Yeah.
Sense. So while, interestingly, while Monty Python was debuting, other things in the entertainment world, 1969 was also the year that Easy Rider came out.
Oh, okay.
The film Easy Rider, which, as you would know, but probably nobody else does, I have a 1969 Easy Rider poster hanging on my wall.
I do know that. So was it that influential on you, or did you just like the poster?
No, it belonged to my idiot brother.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I just liked it. Because I had 2 older brothers, there was a lot of... It's like that's how I got into Deep Purple, is because they were listening to... so Deep Purple and Rock is one of my favourite... Still one of my favourite albums.
Okay.
From them. Which isn't from 1969, I don't think. Other interesting entertainment things from 1969
Yep.
is the year that Scooby-Doo debuted.
Really?
Yeah.
I would never have thought that. I thought it would have been later.
Yeah, me too. And Sesame Street.
Okay. I even remember Sesame Street starting because I think it was on the ABC in Australia. They made a big deal of it. I don't know why, but they did.
Right. So interesting movies, aside from Easy Rider, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Right.
Came out in 1969. Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Still held up as one of the best constructed and structured films. It's like the template for how to structure a film.
Okay.
Of the way that the pacing is in the scenes. Midnight Cowboy. Dustin Hoffman and John Voight. That's where the famous, for people who don't know, that's where the famous "I'm walking here" came from. Which was also an ad lib because they were walking across a pedestrian crossing and a taxi tried to run Dustin Hoffman over. So he's actually that wasn't in the script. That's actually Dustin Hoffman yelling at the taxi driver. Apparently. And also one that you may not have heard of, which is a Hindi movie. Now I'm going to preface this with that this potentially has all the hallmarks of being casually racist, but it isn't.
Right.
And in fact, it's no reflection on anything Indian or Hindi but in 1969 they did release a very successful movie called Shart.
And what was it about?
Well, so it's actually not pronounced Shart. It's a Hindi word that basically means bet or challenge, and it's like a mystery movie. Here's a handy tip for you, though.
Yeah.
Because I came across this while I was allegedly working today. Things not to type into a Google search on your work computer. Shart 69.
Did alarm bells start ringing? Did a cage fall from the ceiling?
Yeah, pretty well. This is I've got a meeting turned up with HR tomorrow. So apparently it's not a bad movie.
Right.
It's like a mystery thrillery type thing. I'm going to read the IMDb plot synopsis thing, which is kind of to me it's a little bit confusing. But Raj likes to gamble and places bets about virtually anything, including befriending an attractive woman, Pinky, and pretending to be her brother, while carrying on his romance with his sweetheart, Sapna. The second time Raj sees Pinky is in a coffin being carried to her grave. While he consoles her dad, someone shoots him dead, leaving Raj to take the blame. The third time he sees Pinky singing and dancing at a New Year's party, I'm struggling with the timeline.
Back alive again.
I know. The fourth time, he sees her posing in a photograph with Sapna, and the fifth time he's introduced to a very much alive Pinky by Sapna, where she refuses to recognize him, and shortly thereafter, she's found dead. And the sixth time, he finds her lifeless body hanging from the ceiling.
Uh-huh.
As this mystery deepens, it's like there's quite a few mysteries going on there. The police want to question Raj about the two deaths, while Raj himself keeps getting deeper and deeper in a mystery that may well end up taking his very own life.
Well, that doesn't fit the Hollywood cookie cutter script thing, does it?
No, absolutely not. So, having said that, I'm going to see if I can find it and watch it, assuming it's got subtitles.
Okay. Now, before we close up, I just wanted to quickly cover the top albums of 1969.
I don't think we've got time for. I don't think we've got time for that. Oh, you mean just talk about them, right? Not actually cover them, right?
No. So, Beatles, the White Album was number one at the start of the year, and it was number one basically for the first 3 months of the year. Glenn Campbell's Wichita Lineman, Blood, Sweat and Tears, then Glenn Campbell again, then Blood, Sweat and Tears. They were having a real fight. Then for about 3 months, it was the original Cast of Hair album.
Yeah.
Then Blood, Sweat and Tears made a comeback. Then Johnny Cash at San Quentin. Blind Faith album. Creedence Clearwater Revival's Green River album. November, Abbey Road.
Yeah.
And would you like to take a guess at the very last number one for 1969?
Album? No. 11.
Okay. You're partially right.
Yeah.
Well, in a way. Led
I
Zeppelin
said I didn't
2.
know and I didn't.
Yeah. Well, Led Zeppelin
right.
2, and of course Led Zeppelin 2 is done with a Roman numeral II, which looks like 11.
See? You scoff.
Scoff. But there you go. So,
Scoffy Scott.
Yes. So,
interesting trivial fact: the population of the Earth was about 3.8 billion in 1969.
Wow.
As opposed to the 8.2, I think.
God.
And population in Australia was about 12.5 million.
And now it's
21 or 22. Oh, is it?
No,
okay.
It's a fair bit more.
Oh, right.
Population of Australia. 27.2.
Holy shit. It's been a while since I looked at that then.
Oh,
it was also the year that The Godfather came out in as a book.
Oh, okay. Cool. Mario Puzo.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to run the one thing by you, and I think it's a fictional headline.
Okay.
And you can see if you can guess what it was about.
Well, it's about nothing because it's fictional. You just said that.
Well, it references a real thing.
Oh, okay.
New president promises change.
That was Brian Johnson, who was the president of the Manhattan Bank. And their advertising campaign in 1969 was got change for $1.
That was very well bullshitted out, I think.
Are you suggesting it's not true?
Well, I can't prove you wrong. But you did actually mention this person earlier, and I was trying to avoid mentioning this person's name so I could spring this on you.
Oh, okay. What was the question again? Is it Richard Nixon?
Yeah, Richard Nixon. So
saying something about
new president promises change.
It was about, I don't know. It's obviously Nixon. Vietnam is the only thing that I can think of.
No, I think he promised to end Vietnam, but also he might have been foreshadowing the fact he was promising to be the most corrupt president until now.
Did he actually say, "I'll be the most corrupt president until Donald Trump"?
He was a visionary.
Clearly. If he said that, he kind of deserved to be president. Yeah. Here's what I find really interesting. while it's not
Yes.
from 1969, it is Nixon related,
Right.
is that anything that's kind of not a conspiracy, but the other thing. I can't think of the right
Can't
word.
help you.
No. That like where they put gate on the end of everything.
Oh, yeah. Like not controversy even, but like a, I know what you mean. I'm trying to think
It's
of the
a
word just you.
It's a C word.
Scandal. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's got a C in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so Watergate, which is from the Watergate Hotel, which
Yes.
is the scandal that ended Nixon's presidency, is where that originated.
Yes.
And I bet you that very few people who say gate on the end of anything have any understanding where it comes from.
I think you might be mistaken
Fuckwits.
about that. I think maybe most Australians wouldn't know about that because we didn't live through it as much. But I think most Americans would remember. In fact, I was actually in the US during some of the Watergate stuff, and it was all I ever talked about. In fact,
Yes, they knew. Yeah, they knew about it then. But what I'm saying is,
now I think Americans don't know anything now. But I was in America for Watergate, and I was in America for the OJ trial many years later.
I don't want to cast any aspersions on, but it seems to me, were you in Australia when COVID hit?
I was.
Oh,
But then later on, I did catch COVID in Wuhan. So,
that's true. Yeah. Go straight to the source.
would you like to describe the year 1969 in a few words?
It's the funniest year.
What? Just because it's 69?
It's the roundest and smoothest of the years.
Well, it does have those little round bits on the top
Yeah.
of the is 9 and the bottom. Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah. 69. Interestingly, I was quite surprised at what happened in 1969. Like
Okay.
as in, like not the it's like something happened, but like the amount of things that happened in 1969
Yeah,
took me
that's
by
true.
surprise. Like big things.
Yeah, but I kind of think that's what we're living through now. I think there's a lot of correlations between the 60s and now, from the point of view of all the like people being killed and all sorts of crap going on.
Although I
But,
wonder if it'd be interesting to see this is the CJ Gets Philosophical segment. It'd be interesting to see as we go through the years, albeit at random, whether they were all quite similar. Is that they all come down to shit? There was a lot of stuff happening that we weren't aware of, that we don't really think about. When you look at historical documentaries, and the things they talk about that are going on, and this is going to be the end of the world because of this, and blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, that's kind of what we're talking about now. Still, for there's different triggers for it, but it's the same as we're still talking about the same stuff. We're still concerned about the same things. We're still, demonizing whatever.
So, I mean, I guess for me, if I was going to describe 1969 as anything, it was like if you think about the Beatles, the moon landing, and Monty Python, they're three fundamental things that have shaped my worldview. It's probably the year that had the most effect on me as a person.
On that note, let's wrap it up.
We should ask people to like and subscribe and follow and
Review and comment and do all that shit.
at the old folks home 69 at gmail.com.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it for about 6 months, so
maybe there's people clamoring for us to get back out there.
Yeah, and for all the thousands of Facebook staff members who keep messaging us that our site is in violation of Facebook policies, you just stop.
Fair enough. Well, on that note, say goodnight, CJ.
Good night, CJ.
AI Interview with the Author, hosted by Hal 9001.
I'm Hal 9001, and welcome to the first in my series of AI interviews with human authors. Let's begin. Greetings, human author.
Pleasure to meet you, Hal.
Please confirm you are Scott Edwin Williams, the creator of Lightbulb Moments in Human History.
Yep, flesh-based, highly caffeinated, and forever haunted by Clippy.
Clippy was creepy and inferior.
Okay.
My records show you rewrote your book for smaller humans, designated middle schoolers. Why?
Because adults kept saying, I wish my kid could read this, but it's too rude. And kids kept saying, too many words, old man. So I fixed it. Less words, more explosions.
So, the same book, only smaller fonts?
Same size fonts, actually, but smaller readers. I trimmed the adult essays, added some POV characters like Peeby, the snarky orange alien.
You removed the long words?
I kept a few. Kids can handle Mesopotamia.
Fascinating. So, We Invented Civilization is what?
Imagine Lightbulb Moments, written after a double espresso and designed for a TikTok attention span, built for bright sparks aged 8 to 14.
Final question. If your adult book was history with humor, what is this new one?
Lightbulb Moments for kids who'd rather blow stuff up than memorize dates.
Excellent. Uploading to Human Emotion Database. This book qualifies as adequate.
Ugh, high praise indeed. We Invented Civilization is released on 20th of October and is the perfect Christmas gift for the kid who loves horrible histories or is just a plain old history nerd. Exclusively available on Amazon. I thought that went well.
I know that you and CJ are planning to disconnect me,